The galaxy was no longer chaotic. Alien civilizations, once panicked by failing networks and disrupted trade, were slowly stabilizing under the careful guidance humans provided. It was not a restoration imposed by force, but a collaboration earned through respect. Systems once taken for granted now functioned again, thanks to human advice. In the grand chambers of the Galactic Council, the atmosphere had changed. Delegates spoke with cautious reverence when discussing humans. Where once there had been arrogance and dismissal, now there was acknowledgement and curiosity. Elora, the council leader, addressed the assembly. We were blind. We dismissed humans as weak and inconsequential. Yet in their absence we have faced chaos and failure. They have shown patience, intelligence, and ingenuity beyond what we imagined. We must recognize them, not as subjects but as equals, and as partners in shaping the galaxy's future. Krath, the reptilian delegate, nodded. At last the lesson is clear. Humans are not simply another species in our networks. They are stabilizers, innovators, and connectors, and we must work with them accordingly. On Earth, humanity watched these changes with quiet satisfaction. Humans did not demand recognition, nor did they flaunt their abilities. They simply continued to explore, innovate, and prepare, knowing that the galaxy was finally ready to understand their true worth. Lena Miro stood on the observation deck of the Odyssey, looking out at the stars. Reports from across the galaxy were displayed on her holographic console. Trade routes were reopening, colonies were recovering, and communication networks were once again functional. And in every report there was an acknowledgement, implicit or explicit, of humans' indispensable role. Elias, her second-in-command, joined her. It seems the galaxy is finally learning, he said quietly. They are, Lena replied. But learning is only the first step. Respect must be earned. And humans have always earned it not by domination, but by purpose, unity, and intelligence. Alien emissaries began to visit Earth. They came not to command, not to control, but to learn. Humans welcomed them with humility and openness. Exchanges of knowledge, culture, and technology began, creating a new era of interstellar cooperation. One delegation, led by a bird-like species with iridescent feathers, spoke to Lena personally. Humans, the leader said, we underestimated you. Your absence revealed what we could not see before. We wish to work together not as subordinates or rulers but as equals. Lena smiled. That is the way of humanity. We do not seek to dominate, we seek collaboration. Respect is mutual and progress comes from understanding, not control. The delegation nodded in agreement, and their people began to study human methods, learning not just technology, but the principles of teamwork, problem-solving, and strategic patience that humans had always relied upon. Across the galaxy, the change was evident. Alien civilizations began to adopt human approaches to planning, coordination, and problem-solving. Supply chains became more reliable. Communication networks grew more resilient. Defense systems operated with better coordination. And in every case, humans did not dictate but guided, sharing insights while respecting autonomy. In the council chambers, debates became more productive. Delegates sought human advice before making decisions that could affect multiple worlds. Humans were no longer underestimated. They were valued partners whose judgment was trusted. Krath observed the proceedings and whispered to a colleague, "Finally, the galaxy understands. Humans are more than they appeared. They are the architects of solutions, not just participants, and this understanding will endure." On Earth, human scientists and explorers continued their work, quietly pushing the boundaries of knowledge. New star systems were mapped. Advanced energy technologies were tested and perfected. Interstellar transport systems became more efficient. And yet, through all this progress, humanity remained humble. Lena addressed her leadership team in the command center of the Odyssey. "We have shown the galaxy that humans are not only capable but necessary," she said. "We have guided without controlling, assisted without dominating. This is the essence of humanity's strength. And the galaxy finally recognizes it." Mara, the young engineer, looked around at her team, inspired. "Do you think this will last? Will they truly respect us?" "They will," Lena replied. "Respect earned through understanding is permanent. The galaxy has learned that humans do not act out of fear, ambition, or domination. We act with purpose. And that is why humanity will endure, and why we are finally recognized as equals." The first fully collaborative interstellar council meeting with humans took place months later. Humans occupied central seats, not as rulers, but as respected partners. Alien delegates approached discussions with humility, eager to learn and share ideas. Lena Miro spoke first. "We have watched the galaxy struggle without humans. We did not intervene out of desire for control, but to allow the lesson to be understood. Collaboration and respect are stronger than domination or fear. We offer our guidance willingly, and in return we ask only mutual respect and understanding." The assembly responded with agreement. Alien delegates spoke of their mistakes in underestimating humans, and they pledged to rebuild trust and cooperation. For the first time in galactic history, humans were not simply another species, they were architects of a new era. In colonies across the galaxy, citizens marveled at humanity's ingenuity. Humans' ability to unite, solve problems, and innovate had been revealed in the silence of their absence. Alien leaders began to incorporate human strategies into education, governance, and technology. Humans' influence spread not by force but by example, creating a ripple effect of progress and cooperation. Krath, watching from his home planet, smiled. "This is the culmination of patience and wisdom. The galaxy finally sees humans as they truly are, not as weak, not as reckless, but as intelligent, creative, and essential partners in progress." Back on Earth, Lena reflected on the journey. The galaxy had once dismissed humans as fragile and insignificant. But through patience, unity, and intelligence, humanity had demonstrated its true power, not in war, but in problem-solving, collaboration, and innovation. She looked out at the stars, the same stars humans had always sought to explore. "We have shown them what it means to be human," she said. "Not by conquest, but by example. Not by fear, but by purpose. The galaxy has learned humility and respect has been earned." Elias stood beside her. "And now humans are partners, not servants." "Exactly," Lena said. "The galaxy now understands that we are creators, innovators, and protectors, and that knowledge will last, shaping generations to come. The new era was marked by cooperation, not competition. Alien species worked alongside humans, sharing knowledge and resources. Trade routes thrived. Communication networks became resilient. Defense systems operated with unity and strategy. And throughout it all, humans remained humble, guiding and collaborating without seeking dominance." In one council session, a young alien delegate stood and spoke. "We once dismissed humans as weak. We were wrong. Their strength lies not in force, but in thought, unity, and perseverance. They have taught us a lesson we will never forget. We are honored to work alongside them." Krath, listening, nodded. "Finally, the galaxy understands. Humanity's true power is subtle, enduring, and undeniable, and now it is recognized." On Earth, humans continued their quiet exploration and innovation. New planets were mapped, new technologies were tested, and humans remained committed to their principles: collaboration, respect, and problem-solving. Lena Miro addressed her team one final time in this era of change. "We have shown the galaxy what humans are capable of. We have guided without controlling, taught without dominating, and demonstrated that respect is earned through understanding. This is our legacy. The galaxy will remember it forever." Mara, inspired and proud, smiled. "And the future will be brighter because of it." "Yes," Lena said, gazing at the stars. "Humanity endures, not through force but through purpose. Not through fear but through unity and intelligence, and the galaxy will never forget it." The stars glittered across the heavens, each one a world of possibilities. Humanity, once dismissed, now stood as a guiding force in the galaxy. Through patience, ingenuity, and quiet strength, humans had proven themselves indispensable. They had earned respect not through war or domination, but through wisdom, collaboration, and unwavering purpose. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Humans were no longer underestimated. They were no longer ignored. And in the endless expanse of stars, a new era of cooperation and understanding began, one guided by humanity's enduring example. For the first time in galactic history, humans walked among the stars not as fragile observers, but as respected partners, innovators, and protectors, and the galaxy would never forget it. The galaxy had always been a place of wonder and mystery. Millions of stars lit up the darkness, and countless planets teemed with life. Alien civilizations thrived, each more advanced than the last. Some were proud of their technology, others of their knowledge, and a few of their strength. But among them, humans were considered small, weak, and slow. They lived on a blue planet called Earth, in a system no one had taken seriously. Their ships were simple, their weapons basic, and their ways often primitive. Most aliens ignored them, thinking humans were not worth noticing. But humans had one quality that no machine or alien could match: determination. In the vast reaches of space, beyond the edge of the Andros cluster, a strange anomaly appeared. It was not like anything the galaxy had seen before. A storm of energy, dark and alive, moved from star to star, consuming everything in its path. Entire systems vanished in hours. Space stations went silent. Ships that tried to approach were torn apart by the storm's strange power. At first, the galaxy did not panic. "It is distant," the Alien Council said. "It will not reach us." Yet as the days passed, the storm moved faster than any known force could. Even the largest fleets equipped with the most advanced shields could not predict its path. Panic began to spread among the older civilizations. In the human system, far from the center of the galaxy, alarms went off on small stations orbiting Mars and the asteroid belt. Captain Mira Solis of the Earth Fleet was the first to notice the anomaly. Her ship, the Horizon's Edge, scanned the region of space where the anomaly originated. The readings were terrifying. This is not a natural event," she said, voice steady but eyes wide. "Energy levels like this, it could destroy planets." Her crew, trained and loyal, looked at her. Lieutenant Aaron Patel, the communications officer, tapped his console. "I am sending messages to the Galactic Council," he said. "But they might not listen." "We are humans," Mira nodded. "Then we will make them listen." The humans wasted no time. Unlike many alien civilizations which debated endlessly, humans acted. They sent warning signals to the nearest star systems. They prepared fleets, though small and simple, for reconnaissance and defense. Every human on the front lines knew the risk. They knew that the storm could wipe out their ships. They also knew that if they did nothing, the galaxy could be lost. Far from Earth, in the heart of the Andros cluster, alien councils gathered. Tall, luminous beings floated above shimmering tables. Tentacled leaders whispered to each other. Machines hummed with calculations, yet no one moved. "The humans are sending a warning," one council member said, its voice echoing like a bell. "They think they can stop it." Another laughed softly. "Stop it? They are primitive. They have no chance. Why bother? Let the storm run its course. Let it test the galaxy. We will survive anyway." But not all were so sure. Some aliens, quietly observing, wondered if humans' persistence might be worth noticing. Still, no one dared act. Meanwhile, on the Horizon's Edge, Mira Solis and her crew worked day and night. They mapped the storm's path, using instruments no alien had ever built. They studied its energy pulses, recorded its speed, and calculated possible weak points. Ensign Kira Lant, a young scientist barely out of training, stared at the holographic map of the storm. "It's moving faster than anything we've ever seen," she said. "It could reach the outer systems in days." Mira's jaw tightened. "Then we have days to act, days to prepare, days to save lives that don't even know we exist." Humans on Earth and nearby colonies worked tirelessly. Engineers repaired ships, scientists ran simulations, and diplomats sent urgent messages to the Galactic Council. They did not have the luxury of doubt. They could not wait for permission or debate. They had to act. The storm grew larger every hour. Its edges crackled with blue and purple energy, like lightning frozen in space. When a small alien ship approached it, it vanished in an instant. The galaxy watched silently. None of the so-called advanced civilizations moved. Only humans took action. Mira's fleet, though tiny compared to alien armadas, set out toward the storm. They were not armed to fight it. They were armed to study it, to understand it, and to find a way to stop it. Every captain on every human ship knew the danger. Each one understood that this mission could be their last. Yet none hesitated. As the fleet approached the storm, sensors went wild. The energy readings were off the charts. The storm pulsed almost as if it was alive, testing the humans, daring them to proceed. Lieutenant Patel spoke again. "Captain, we are receiving messages from other civilizations. Most are ignoring us, some are warning us not to interfere. They fear the storm." Mira shook her head. "They fear action, not the storm. Fear is useless. Courage is what we need." The human ships moved closer. Small drones flew into the storm, sending back data. Some never returned. Others came back damaged but alive. The fleet adapted quickly, learning from every loss, every failure. On a distant planet in a council chamber filled with beings of light and metal, a debate raged. "They are humans," one elder said. "Why do they act when we cannot? Their courage is foolish, but—" "Yes," another interrupted. "But it works. Every step they take seems to slow the storm. Maybe they are different." The humans did not wait for approval. They did not wait for acknowledgement. They believed in action, in trying, in risking everything for others. That belief, unknown to them, was stronger than any technology or weapon in the galaxy. Back on the horizon's edge, Mira watched the storm on the main display. The energy waves reflected in her eyes. "We might be the only ones willing to face it," she said softly. Ensign Lant nodded. "Then we will do it, Captain. We will show them what humans can do." The storm seemed endless, stretching farther than anyone could see. But the humans pressed on. They were small, fragile, and underestimated. Yet they were alive with determination, with courage, with hope, and that made all the difference. As the human fleet ventured further into the storm, sensors detected subtle changes. The storm pulsed slower, reacted differently. Every calculation the humans made seemed to have an effect. They were learning, adapting, surviving. The galaxy watched, though most did not intervene. Only humans dared to try. In the darkest reaches of space, where silence had ruled for eons, a small human fleet moved forward, shining like a spark against the void. They were alone, but they were not afraid. In the quiet, they carried a message the galaxy had forgotten. Courage, action, and hope could change the course of fate. Mira Solis stood at the helm, hands gripping the console. "Prepare for the first encounter," she ordered. "This is what humans do. We act, we survive, and we protect others no matter the cost." The crew of the Horizon's Edge nodded. Each one knew the risks. Each one felt the weight of the galaxy's future. And yet none hesitated. They were humans. And in a galaxy that had forgotten the value of courage, they were about to remind everyone what humanity truly meant. The storm loomed ahead, dark and alive. But humanity moved forward, and that was the first spark in the galaxy's darkest hour. The humans had taken the first step where others hesitated. Captain Mira Solis and her crew were no longer just explorers. They were pioneers standing against a force the galaxy had never seen. As the Horizon's Edge sailed closer to the storm, every human ship in the fleet was busy with preparations. Scientists adjusted sensors, engineers strengthened shields, and pilots studied every maneuver. Every heartbeat mattered. Every decision could be the difference between survival and annihilation. The storm was alive in a sense no human had understood before. It moved unpredictably, twisting and pulsing as if testing the intruders in its dark heart. Small bursts of energy lashed out, threatening to tear ships apart. But humans adapted quickly. Drones, small and nimble, were sent ahead, analyzing weak points. Each drone returned, some battered, some destroyed, but their data allowed the humans to plan. On Earth, news of the storm spread rapidly. Governments, scientists, and civilians followed the fleet's progress. People across the planet watched live feeds of the human ships confronting the unknown. Children whispered about the bravery of the fleet. Teachers told stories of Captain Solis and her crew, of humans who acted when everyone else hesitated. For once, humans felt the pride that had always been promised in tales but rarely realized in action. Yet not all in the galaxy were pleased. In the Andros cluster, the alien councils observed the humans with mixed emotions. Some were fascinated, others were irritated. "They are meddling where they do not belong," one alien leader hissed. "They are small, unprepared, yet somehow they survive." Another elder floated forward, its translucent wings catching the light. "Do you see it?" it asked. "They act without fear. They do not wait for approval, perhaps. They are worth watching." The humans, unaware of the debates, focused on the storm. Lieutenant Arun Patel studied the sensor readings. "Captain, we can predict small patterns in its energy flow. If we time it correctly, we might pass through its outer current safely." Mira nodded. "Good. Prepare a reconnaissance path. We need to know more before we risk the fleet fully." Meanwhile, human engineers worked tirelessly on their ships. They were simple compared to the alien fleets, but ingenuity ran in their veins. Makeshift energy shields were reinforced, new navigation algorithms written, and communication systems optimized. Every improvement was tested in real time, and every risk was calculated carefully. Ensign Kira Lant monitored the storm's energy pulses. Captain, these pulses, they seem reactive. When we move, the storm shifts slightly. It's as if it knows we are here. Mira's eyes narrowed. Then we will use that. We will learn its rhythm and move with it, not against it. The human fleet moved forward cautiously. Small skirmishes with the storm's energy bursts tested the ships. A few drones were destroyed, leaving blackened remnants floating in space. But each loss taught the humans more about their opponent. Every failure was a lesson, and every lesson strengthened their resolve. Across the galaxy, whispers began to spread. The aliens who had ignored humans were beginning to pay attention. Rumors of small human fleets confronting the storm reached distant worlds. They are reckless, some said. They will fail. Others spoke quietly with a hint of admiration. They act, one alien murmured. Even when all others hesitate, they do not wait. Perhaps humans are stronger than we believed. The storm itself seemed to notice. Pulses intensified when humans approached, crackling and shifting with unusual patterns. Captain Solus realized they had only one advantage, their willingness to act while others hesitated. We are small, she said to her crew, but our courage is large. Let's use it. The first direct encounter with the storm was terrifying. Ships were buffeted by energy waves, lights flickered, alarms blared. Some ships lost power temporarily, drifting helplessly. But humans never panicked. Pilots skillfully navigated, engineers stabilized systems, and scientists recorded every pulse, every anomaly. In the heart of the fleet, the horizon's edge became a command center, coordinating every maneuver. Humans communicated constantly, sharing discoveries and adjusting tactics in real time. Their small fleet moved with a unity no alien civilization had managed, driven by trust, courage, and necessity. Meanwhile, human scientists were devising a daring plan. Using the data collected from the storm, they theorized that if they could focus energy in a specific pattern, they might be able to slow the storm's advance. It was a risky idea. One miscalculation could destroy the fleet instantly. But humans were not afraid of risk. They were afraid of failure. Ensign Lant presented her calculations to Captain Solus. If we synchronize the shield arrays across multiple ships, we can create a stabilizing field. It might not stop the storm completely, but it could weaken it enough to protect nearby systems. Mira studied the holographic map. It's dangerous, but it's the best chance we have. Begin preparations immediately. Notify all ships and assign roles. While the humans worked, the alien civilizations continued their debates. Many still hesitated. Some sent advisors, but no fleets. They watched as humans took bold actions, risking everything without hesitation. Slowly, admiration mixed with disbelief. One alien scientist whispered to a colleague, "I thought humans were weak, but their persistence, their courage, it is extraordinary." Another replied, "Persistence alone does not change outcomes. Yet they survive, adapt, and act. Perhaps we underestimated them." Back in human space, preparations were nearly complete. Engineers reinforced the energy arrays, pilots practiced new maneuvers, and scientists synchronized the shield protocols. Every detail mattered. Every human knew the stakes. Finally, Captain Solus addressed her crew. "We are about to attempt something no one has ever tried. The storm is powerful, unpredictable, and dangerous, but we have courage, intelligence, and determination. That is more than many have. Remember, we do not act for glory or recognition. We act because it is right, because life deserves a chance, and because humans do not wait while others hesitate." The fleet moved into position, the stabilizing shields activated, connecting multiple ships in a delicate lattice of energy. Lights pulsed, engines hummed, and every human held their breath. The storm reacted immediately. Energy waves surged, striking the shield lattice. Sparks danced across the fleet's hulls. Some ships rocked violently, systems warning of critical failures. But the humans held firm. Engineers worked furiously. Pilots adjusted in real time, and scientists fine-tuned the energy arrays. Hours passed. The storm pulsed and shifted, testing every human reflex. But slowly, gradually, the shields began to stabilize the energy flow. The storm's momentum slowed, cracks forming in its dark heart. On the bridge of the horizon's edge, Mira watched the readings. "It's working," she said softly. "We are making a difference." Lieutenant Patel smiled despite the tension. "They will notice soon," he said. "The galaxy will see humans act when no one else could." Even in distant alien systems, observers began to react. Some still hesitated, but a few sent reconnaissance ships to follow the humans, studying their methods. They had never seen courage combined with ingenuity so clearly. As the human fleet pushed forward, they began to understand the storm more. Every pulse, every wave, every shift in energy was recorded and analyzed. Humans learned to move with the storm, predicting its actions and adapting faster than any alien machine could. For the first time in the galaxy, humans were not just survivors. They were leaders. Their willingness to act, to risk everything, and to learn from every challenge set them apart. Captain Mira Solis looked out at the dark, swirling storm. It was vast, terrifying, and alive, but she felt no fear. She felt pride. Pride in her crew, in their courage, and in what humans could do when others hesitated. In the galaxy's darkest hour, humans had stepped forward. Alone, small, and underestimated, they were becoming the spark of hope the galaxy had forgotten. And this was only the beginning. The storm was no longer just a distant threat. It loomed closer, larger, and more dangerous than ever before. Even the humans, brave and determined, felt its power pressing against them. The fleet had learned much in their previous encounters, but now the real test had begun. The storm pulsed unpredictably, energy surging like furious waves against their ships. Every ship in the human fleet was on high alert. Captain Mira Solis stood at the bridge of the horizon's edge, eyes scanning the holographic display of the storm. "Prepare for the first full engagement," she ordered. Her voice was calm but firm. "We have faced this before, but now we must go further. We cannot retreat." Ensign Kira Lant, her hands moving quickly across the control panel, spoke softly. "Captain, the storm's energy patterns are changing. It's adapting to our shields. If we are not careful, it could overwhelm us." Mira nodded. "Then we adapt faster. Humans survive because we learn. That is our advantage. Keep monitoring, Kira. Every pulse matters." The fleet moved forward in formation. Small bursts of energy lashed out from the storm, striking ships with immense force. Sparks flew, hulls groaned, and alarms rang. A small reconnaissance vessel, the Pioneer, was caught in a surge. Its shields flickered and failed, and the ship spun uncontrollably into the storm. The crew inside fought desperately, but the Pioneer was lost. The fleet mourned briefly, but there was no time to dwell on the loss. Mira turned to her crew. "Every loss teaches us something. Remember the data from the Pioneer. We use it, we survive. That is what humans do." Even in the face of destruction, humans pressed on. Their engineers had already analyzed the wreckage, finding weak points in their shield design and adjusting them on the remaining ships. Pilots learned to maneuver differently, timing movements with the storm's unpredictable pulses. Meanwhile, human scientists worked on a bold plan. They proposed a risky experiment, harnessing the storm's energy itself to create a stabilizing field. The idea was dangerous. If the calculations were wrong, the entire fleet could be destroyed instantly. But humans were not afraid of risk. They were afraid of failing to act. Lieutenant Arun Patel approached Mira with the proposal. "Captain, we can use the storm's energy against itself. By redirecting it through our shield arrays, we may slow its advance and protect nearby systems. It is risky, but it is our best chance." Mira studied the holographic projection of the storm. Lines of energy crackled across the display. "It is risky, yes, but we cannot wait. Begin preparations immediately. Inform the fleet. Everyone must know their role." As humans worked, alien civilizations observed. Many still hesitated, unwilling to risk their ships. Some whispered among themselves, questioning why humans acted so boldly. "They are small," one alien counselor said. "They cannot survive. Yet they continue. Why?" Another replied, "It is their courage. Humans do not wait for safety or approval. They act. That is something we cannot easily comprehend." The human fleet moved deeper into the storm. Energy waves struck with increasing intensity, shaking ships violently. Systems faltered under the pressure. Alarms screamed in unison. Every human worked tirelessly to stabilize their vessels. Engineers ran repairs in real time. Scientists recalculated energy flows, and pilots performed daring maneuvers to avoid being crushed by sudden surges. Amid the chaos, the humans discovered something remarkable. The storm reacted to their actions. When they moved in precise formations and synchronized shield pulses, the storm's energy pulses weakened slightly. Each success brought new hope. but every failure reminded them of the danger. Ensign Kira Lant called out from the lab. "Captain, if we combine the energy from multiple ships and focus it into a single shield lattice, we might be able to create a temporary barrier. It could hold the storm long enough to protect the colonies in its path." Mira nodded. "Prepare the lattice. Notify all ships. This will require perfect timing. Every human must do their part flawlessly." The fleet worked together in a way no alien civilization had seen. Small ships connected their energy grids with larger ones, forming a fragile lattice of light against the dark storm. Every pulse, every adjustment mattered. Humans communicated constantly, sharing data, correcting errors, and adapting instantly. Hours passed. The storm lashed out repeatedly, striking the lattice with overwhelming force. Some ships were damaged. Crew members worked through exhaustion, ignoring pain and fear. One small ship, the Defiant, was hit by a massive surge, its hull torn open. Captain Solis watched helplessly as the crew struggled to stabilize the vessel. "Hold together," she shouted. "We cannot lose them. Every ship matters." The crew of the Defiant fought valiantly. Engineers rerouted power, pilots maneuvered with skill, and scientists recalculated energy flows on the fly. Slowly, they stabilized their ship enough to rejoin the formation. The human fleet, battered but unbroken, pressed on. Across the galaxy, aliens began to take notice. Observation stations recorded the humans' actions. Some were astonished. "They are small, yet they act with coordination, courage, and intelligence," one alien whispered. "Perhaps we underestimated them." Others remained skeptical. "They are reckless. They will fail. The storm is unstoppable." But the humans did not wait for approval. They focused on the task at hand. Every ship, every crew member, every calculation mattered. They were determined to act, to protect, and to survive. That determination became a force stronger than any technology. The storm began to show cracks in its energy field. Small areas weakened where the humans' lattice-focused energy. The fleet adjusted constantly, learning and adapting. Each victory was small, but it added up. Captain Solis addressed her crew. "We are making progress, but we cannot relax. The storm is relentless. We must continue, and we must do it together. Humans survive because we act, because we learn, and because we do not give up." As the fleet pushed further, sacrifices were inevitable. The Vanguard, a small escort ship, was struck by a massive surge and destroyed. Its crew gave their lives to buy time for others. On the bridge of the horizon's edge, a moment of silence passed. Mira's eyes glistened, but she remained resolute. "Every life lost teaches us something," she said softly. "We honor them by continuing. We honor them by saving others." The storm pulsed more violently than ever, but the humans had gained confidence. They had learned its patterns, its reactions, and its weaknesses. The lattice of human ships held, protecting dozens of systems from destruction. They were small in number, but their courage, intelligence, and teamwork made them a formidable force. Ensign Lant looked at the readings. "Captain, the storm's energy is beginning to stabilize in certain sectors. We are making a difference, slowly, but it is happening." Mira smiled faintly. "Then we continue. Every hour we hold it back is a victory. Every life we save is proof that humans matter." The first trials were over, but the storm still loomed. The humans had learned much, but the cost was high. Ships were damaged, crews exhausted, and some had been lost forever. Yet through sacrifice and determination, they had proven that even a small, underestimated civilization could stand against unimaginable odds. In the quiet moments, as the fleet regrouped and repaired, the humans reflected on what they had accomplished. They were tired, battered, and scarred, but they were alive. They had faced a force that others had feared to confront and had survived. That survival was not luck. It was courage, intelligence, and unity. Far across the galaxy, aliens recorded the events in awe. Some still doubted, but many began to whisper. The humans, they act when others hesitate. They learn. They adapt, perhaps. They are not as weak as we thought. Captain Solis stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, looking at the dark, swirling storm. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The galaxy may doubt us. They may hesitate. But humans will act. We will face every challenge, every danger, and every trial. We will protect what is right. That is who we are." The human fleet, battered but unbroken, prepared for the next phase. They had faced their first trials and made sacrifices, but their courage had inspired hope, even if only within themselves. In the darkness of the storm, humans had shown that determination, selflessness, and ingenuity could change the course of fate. And as the storm continued to rage, the galaxy began to realize something it had never understood before. Humans were not weak. Humans were the spark that could ignite hope in the darkest hour. The storm had grown larger than anyone had imagined. Its dark tendrils of energy stretched across star systems, consuming everything in its path. Entire planets had disappeared, and even the largest alien fleets had failed to slow its advance. Yet the human fleet, battered but determined, pressed forward. They had learned, adapted, and endured every trial the storm had thrown at them. Now they were ready for the boldest step yet, a full-scale attempt to stabilize the storm and protect the galaxy. Captain Mira Solis stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of the storm. The swirling energy was chaotic, unpredictable, and alive, but she saw patterns, small, almost imperceptible fluctuations in the storm's pulse. Those fluctuations were the key. "We have learned its rhythm," she said, turning to her crew. "Now we act. This will be dangerous, but if we succeed, we may save countless lives. Every ship, every crew member must give their all. Humans do not wait when others hesitate. That is what makes us strong. That is what makes us necessary." Lieutenant Arun Patel nodded. "Captain, the shield lattice is ready. We have synchronized all ships capable of energy transmission. If we channel the storm's energy into the lattice, we might create a stabilizing field. But it will require precise timing. One mistake and the entire fleet could be destroyed." Mira's gaze did not waver. "Then we do it perfectly. Every human here has survived challenges greater than many could imagine. Trust in each other. Trust in yourselves. Let's show the galaxy what humanity can do." The fleet moved into position. Ships of all sizes adjusted their shields, engines, and communication arrays. Energy lines connected, forming a massive lattice designed to contain and redirect the storm's power. Drones were sent ahead to monitor the storm's fluctuations in real time. As the humans prepared, distant alien civilizations observed. Some remained passive, unwilling to risk their fleets. Others sent small teams to watch, fascinated by the humans' courage. "They are bold," one alien said. "They risk everything, and yet they endure. Perhaps there is strength in their determination." The storm, sensing the human fleet, pulsed violently. Its energy lashed out, striking ships with unprecedented force. The horizon's edge shuddered under the assault, alarms blaring across the bridge. Sparks flew along the hull, and some smaller ships were forced to adjust their positions rapidly to avoid destruction. "Hold steady," Mira commanded. "Focus the lattice. Do not falter. We act for the galaxy and we will succeed." The human fleet moved as one. Engineers rerouted power. Scientists recalculated energy flows, and pilots performed daring maneuvers to keep the lattice intact. Each pulse of the storm was met with a precise human response. Slowly, the chaotic energy began to align with the lattice's pattern. Small areas of the storm's heart stabilized. Ensign Kira Lance's fingers flew across the controls. "Captain, the storm is responding. The energy pulses are weakening where our lattice focuses them. It's working." Mira allowed herself a small smile. "Keep it steady. We are only halfway there." The storm, however, was not easily defeated. Its energy surged unpredictably, striking the fleet with powerful blasts. The Defiant, a small escort ship, was caught in a surge and nearly destroyed. Its crew worked desperately, rerouting power and stabilizing shields. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and tension filled the air. "Do not give up," Mira shouted. "Every human here is a part of this lattice. Every life matters. We survived together." The humans adapted quickly. Their courage, combined with intelligence and teamwork, allowed them to survive attacks that would have destroyed larger, more advanced fleets. Each ship's actions were synchronized with the others, forming a living web of determination against the storm. Across the galaxy, alien civilizations took notice. Some whispered in awe. "They are small, yet they act with unity and courage," one alien said. "They face a force no one else dares confront and endure." Perhaps. Humanity is not to be underestimated. Others remained doubtful, shaking their heads. They will fail. They are reckless. The storm cannot be controlled by such primitive ships. But humans did not wait for validation. They focused on their mission. Every ship, every crew member, and every calculation mattered. They had learned from previous trials and sacrifices, and now they were executing a plan that required absolute precision. Hours passed. The storm pulsed and thrashed, but the human lattice held. Small sections of the storm's heart stabilized, creating pockets of calm where energy once raged uncontrollably. The fleet adjusted constantly, learning and adapting in real time. Then came the critical moment. The humans attempted to channel the storm's energy into the lattice's core, focusing the stabilizing field across a wider area. Sparks of raw energy danced along the shields and the fleet groaned under the strain. Smaller ships teetered on the edge of collapse. The risk was immense. Focus on the core, Mira shouted. Synchronize every ship. We can do this. Engineers on every vessel worked tirelessly, rerouting power and stabilizing energy flows. Pilots maneuvered with skill, keeping ships in precise positions. Scientists monitored the storm, making split-second adjustments to maintain control. The lattice began to glow brighter, pulsing with energy as it absorbed and redirected the storm's chaotic forces. Slowly, the storm's momentum slowed. Cracks appeared in its dark heart, showing glimpses of calm space beyond. Captain, it's working, Ensign Lance said, awe in her voice. The storm is weakening. Mira nodded, her expression resolute. Do not celebrate yet. We are not done. Keep the lattice stable. Every moment counts. The storm reacted violently, striking with bursts stronger than ever. Ships rocked violently, systems failed temporarily, and alarms screamed. But the human fleet held. Their courage, determination, and unity allowed them to survive. Each wave of the storm became a test, and humans passed everyone. Across the galaxy, observers could no longer ignore what was happening. Some alien fleets sent small reinforcements, but most remained hesitant. Yet even their presence acknowledged the humans' bravery and skill. The human fleet pressed forward, focusing on the heart of the storm. The lattice reached full strength, and the stabilizing field expanded. The storm's energy pulses slowed significantly. Dark tendrils weakened. Entire sections of the storm stabilized, preventing it from consuming nearby star systems. Captain Solis exhaled, feeling a moment of relief. We are making history, she said softly. The galaxy will remember this. Humans acted when others hesitated. We showed courage when others feared. We survived because we refused to give up. The storm, though not fully defeated, had been slowed. The immediate threat to nearby systems was contained. The human fleet had proven that even against overwhelming odds, intelligence, courage, and selflessness could make the impossible possible. Ensign Lance smiled, exhausted but proud. We did it. For now, Mira placed a hand on the console, looking at the stabilized storm. This is only the beginning. We have shown what humans can do, but the storm still exists. We will continue to fight, continue to adapt, and continue to protect the galaxy. That is who we are. That is what humans do. The fleet regrouped, repairing damage, stabilizing energy arrays, and preparing for the next phase. Though exhausted, each human knew that their courage had inspired hope, even if only within themselves. Across the galaxy, whispers grew louder. Alien civilizations that had doubted humanity now watched with curiosity, respect, and cautious admiration. The humans' actions had demonstrated a truth the galaxy had forgotten. Courage and action could change the course of fate. In the heart of the storm, the human fleet shone like a beacon of hope. They were small, underestimated, and alone in their courage, but their determination was enough to challenge the darkness. Captain Mira Solis looked at the dark, swirling storm. We have turned the tide, she said, but our work is not finished. We will continue. We will face every challenge, and we will show the galaxy that humans are a force to be reckoned with. The storm pulsed, dark and alive, but it had been challenged. The human fleet, battered yet unbroken, had achieved the impossible. They had faced despair and danger, adapted under pressure, and inspired hope across the galaxy. And in that moment, one thing was clear. When the galaxy was at its darkest hour, humans were not just participants, they were the spark of courage that could light the way.